Everyone, and welcome to this episode of Honing Your Speaker Skills, how to make things a little bit more up. What do I mean by all of this? Well, we've got a new year, haven't we? New year, new resolutions, new goals, new intentions. It doesn't matter what you call them. But I'm going to ask you, does your New Year resolution, plan, goal include speaking? And if so, where? When? Have you got a plan? Oh, have I got a plan? Well, I would invite you to consider having a plan. Now, whether you see speaking as part of your business or whether it's an adjunct to it, thinking Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and plan out when you want to be doing your talks. Have you got a big one in your head for this year? Do you want to do something like a TEDx? Do you want to do a big featured talk? In which case, how close are you to being able to be ready for that? You've got application forms to fill out. Do you know how to get the application in? What's required of an application for such a big stage? Now, I say big stage, I mean big as in it's going to reach a lot of people. There may not be that many people in the room, but when it gets onto video on the YouTube channel, depending on how much marketing you are prepared to do, it will reach a lot of people. Now, notice that, how much marketing you are prepared to do. So this is where this plan is coming in. So if speaking is part of what you want to do for this year, as I said, whether it is your main business, whether it is your an adjunct to your or your general business, as a way of bringing people into your business, what is the plan? Where do you want to be speaking? If you have a book coming out this year, when is your publication date? This is where one of those big year planner calendars that I used to dread in corporate situations with all the little stickers on them for different colors for different people when they were taking holidays and vacations. But that's the sort of thing that could be useful to you if you want to have a long-term view of the whole year. Now, if you have a publication date set, whether it's in your head or you have it committed to a deadline of a publication date, if you're doing it through a publisher, that may well be something that you've got. Otherwise, it's often a case of in your head, you want it to be published on such and such a date. Now, those dates can be significant to you. They can be significant to the people that you're wanting to write for. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a client, potential client, back in October, beginning of November, who wanted to get their book out for the beginning of December. Knew they were going to miss the Black Friday push and wanted to pick it up for the Christmas market, but it wasn't going to be ready till the 14th of December. I was going, that's probably a bit late actually, because particularly for that genre, it was about relationships. And let's face it, who are the people who buy books on relationships? Is it the fellas or is it the girls? We know it's the girls, isn't it? Because we women are more in tune with the relationship side of things. So I said, well, look, if it's not going to be ready in time for Christmas, hello, Valentine's Day. Oh, good idea, she said. So when you have a publication date, work out if there's something significant either for you personally or for your audience. Now, I've got 4 books coming out this year. Yes, it was starting to be 1 book, but then now it's morphed into 4 smaller books. Now, I have set dates for publication on all 4 of those titles because each one of those is significant for me. No, I won't share with you that. I'll share another day. But my point is, once you've got that date in your mind, work backwards. What do you need to do in terms of marketing? One of which I would strongly suggest is you getting onto podcasts, talking about your book that's coming up. Who's your audience? Who's the audience you've written it for? What are the podcasts that they listen to? Chances are they are podcast listeners. There are so many people who are listening to podcasts these days because, let's face it, stuff on the telly is probably not really what you want to watch. And if you, like me, like something to listen to while you're doing the dishes, or if you're going out for a walk or something like that, you plug in, you listen to podcasts. So where does your ideal audience hang out? What are the podcasts they listen to? I would suggest that they would possibly be the similar podcasts that you listen to, because I've got a bit of a suspicion that you've kind of written your book for you, first and foremost. Maybe you a few years ago. I'm surmising. Who are those podcasts? Now, if you think, oh, Mel Robbins, Joe Rogan, there's no way I'll ever get onto those. Maybe not. But why not try? They usually like to promote books once they're out, to be fair. So you could introduce the concept to them. Now, obviously, you won't get to them. You'll get to their back-end people. You'll get to their minions. But think about the sort of podcasts that people listen to like that. Are there people in your local area? If it's something that you've written that is particularly pertinent to your local area, there are cultural references in there, for instance. Who are the people who are local who are listening to it? Are there local radio stations you could get on? They love to pick up stories about local artists, local celebrities, local authors. Just saying. There will be local radio stations. There will be local TV stations doing press releases. All of these opportunities for sharing about your book. You want to get it out there, don't you? You want to be speaking about what the gem that you have written in. So marketing, have your end point, start with the end in mind, work backwards. What is your marketing strategy? What do you want to be dropping in to people's thought process? Bear in mind that a lot of podcasters don't simply record one day and publish the next. A lot of us podcasters have vaults of recordings ready to go, so that there are a lot of podcasters who will do seasons. They will do a lot of recording. They'll get a batch of maybe 10 weeks worth, and then they'll have a break. And then they'll put another 10 weeks worth. But in that time, you could have been recorded, say, in February, and yours goes out in July. That's what I'm saying. Look into the podcasts. What's their time delay? Think ahead of time. Plan, have a strategy of you getting your message out there. Now, my first book comes out on the 6th of June. I've thought about this long and hard, even before I started putting pen to paper. I've set up my own Instagram channel and YouTube channel, and I've been doing a daily reel on there and getting more followers, so that when time comes for me to publish that first book, people are going, oh, is that what it was about? Oh, got it. I've been thinking ahead of time. I've been marketing. I'm getting onto podcasts now. Where are we? This is January. I'm looking to get onto different podcasts, aware of the time, and dropping hints in every time I talk. My Life with 20 Kilos. If you see any of my socials on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn as well, you'll not necessarily LinkedIn, but you'll see the others. My Life with 20 Kilos, or hashtag 20 Kilos Life. So start thinking about how you can get your message out ahead of time, drip feed it, so that when it comes to it, people go, oh, I've heard about that. And then when you share your hashtags on everybody else's podcasts, it pings up the SEO. All part of the strategy. This speaking is not simply about getting out on stage, opening your mouth and spouting. There's a lot more to it. So podcasts. Maybe you've got a big stage you're aiming for. Maybe there are virtual summits. Are you on speaker directories? Oh, maybe you're on podcast directories. Oh, if you're not, I highly recommend you look into it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, DM me below. Let's chat, and I can introduce you to some free versions and also some paid versions. That depends on where you're at in your journey, what you want out of this year. It comes back to the planning. What is it that you want to achieve this year with your speaking? Do you remember the last few weeks we've been talking about the rewire process? Those mental scripts that have been holding us back? Well, this is your opportunity to move past those ones that you've worked on. Put it into practice, your new script, what you're going to do in 2025. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. This is going to be a fabulous year. Are you ready? You coming with me? Have an awesome week. Bye from me.